Zarc takes on an amazing new form. Don't beg 30% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Hi, I'm back from Chicago. We got news tonight, so back on the grind, right? Look how good this looks. Like, look how freaking cool this looks. Like, that is so awesome. Like, they did the art. The art's amazing. Oh, hi. So this is the Supreme King Gate Magician. Spellcaster Pendulum Effect Monster, light level 7 with 2500 attack, 2000 defense. There's going to be a lot of reading here. So, you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn for the Pendulum Effect. So your Supreme King Zarc you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. During your main phase, you can destroy this card that's in the Pendulum Zone to place a Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your hand or deck into your Pendulum Zone, except for Supreme King Gate Magician. So, you think about that. The universal scales that we have working for us here. Actually looking pretty good. Now, our Wall of Monster effect down here. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. Okay. If you have a Supreme King Gate card other than this card in your Pendulum Zone, you can send a Pendulum Dragon, an Exceed Dragon, a Synchro Dragon, or a Fusion Dragon monster from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. So your summoning conditions are, as long as you have a gate up, you can banish one of the 4 Supreme King Dragons, or drop it from your extra deck to the graveyard to summon this. Easy enough. If this card is special summon, you can add one card that mentions Supreme King Zarc from its deck to your hand, except for, well, a Spellcaster type monster. Congratulations! You have a Searcher for Darkworm. We've really come far enough for this. Next up is our 8th scale. This is going to be the Supreme King Dragon Lightworm. Dragon Pendulum Tuner Effect monster. Well, this is by far the best combination of anything you could ever want. Just Dragon Pendulum Tuner. Okay. So you can only use the Pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. So if a monster or monsters is special summoned, and you control Zarc and another Pendulum monster, that's a little bit costly, but it's fine. You can special summon this card, and then you can choose one other Pendulum monster you control, and the attribute and level of that monster or this become the attribute and level of the other. There's some overlay shenanigans that I really want to try with this card. Monster effect. You only use the first second effects of this card's name once per turn. On normal or special summon, you can add a face-up Supreme King Dragon or a Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can do a Synchro Summon or an Exceed Summon for a Supreme King Dragon monster. So, you know, all of the Exceed and the Clear Wing shenanigans. It's pretty cool. And then if a face-up Pendulum monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, well, this card is face-up in your extra deck. This actually recurs itself back to your hand. So, this card's actually pretty interesting. I like what we're doing for it. The Magician is infinitely better than this, though. But this card has a lot of like good merit for it. Now, keep in mind that this is Light Zarc. Also has Odd Eyes in the name. So this is Supreme Celestial King Odd Eyes Arc Ray Dragon. I hope you processed all of that. Okay. Also, side note here, it looks like all these like little the 25th anniversary are like the big boss monsters. So this is a Dragon Fusion Pendulum effect. Oh boy. So you took all that in, right? First, the important line down here is this card is always treated as Supreme King Zarc. So you know. So our Pendulum effect. You can only use the Pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. So if you have 2 cards in your Pendulum Zone, which will probably be this card as well, you can special summon this card, then you can shuffle 1 card in your Pendulum Zone into the deck. Then, if you returned to your extra, then if it is returned to your extra deck, you can special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. That's pretty good. And then our summoning conditions are 1 Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, and a Pendulum. Oh boy. Remember, this is always treated as Zarc. This face-down card in the extra deck must be first either Fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing a level 12 Dark Supreme King Zarc. So yes, you can Zarc out or off the trap, tribute to deploy this. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, place 1 Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. And then if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, it goes into the Pendulum scale. The biggest thing that we care about here is you contribute Zarc to place any universal scale that you're going to want up on the field running. I feel like there's a missing or line of text on this card, like this card needed to do more, but I understand that you're basically adding text at this point to Zarc, because Zarc turns into this. So whatever this card needed to do, you can't add too much, text to it, or you're going to literally break Zarc. So, now this card's insane. Oh my gosh. Pendulum Evolution. You can only use the first, second, and third effects of this card's name once per turn. So, you can shuffle a Pendulum monster from your hand into the deck to add a Pendulum monster with 2,500 attack with a different name from your deck to your hand. Think about that. Right? It turns into anything with 2,500 attack points. Guess what? Our dear friend Messiah has 2,500 attack points. I know it's not going to come up all that much, but it is something that you can do. Astrograph, who's limited to 1, also has it. And then, of course, some of the Odd Ice stuff. If you special summon a face-down Pendulum monsters from your extra deck this turn, you can activate this effect immediately after it resolves. Pendulum summon a monsters. That's another special summon extender for this deck. Extra Pendulum summons. You can target one Supreme King Zarc you control. It can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each. This is just a continuous filter for Astrograph, I feel like. But the card is... I really do think that this card's really good. Especially the secondary effect here for the additional Pendulum summon. I was already joking with a few people before at the very rough translations for this, but you can technically get three Pendulum summons in a turn now because of this. It's not likely at any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, it's something you can do. Next up is the Light-Winged Dragon. Quick play spell card. That's my favorite part. This is on a quick play. Activate one card with this card's name per turn. During the main phase, add a Supreme King Dragon or a Supreme Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. And if you control a Zarc, just go ahead and special summon it instead. Well, that's just cool, man. I always wanted a searcher for Darkworm to be able to set up the scales. Like, I'm really glad that this was on a quick play for the defensive options that it adds to the table. But, like, there's a lot to unpack with this. But alright, next up, this is a really cool card. Miracle of the Supreme King. So, if you control a Supreme King Zarc, activate one of these effects. So we can destroy a Zarc that we control, special summon an Odd Eyes monster, or one Light Supreme King Zarc from the deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Okay? We can place one face-up Pendulum monster from the extra deck into the Pendulum Zone, or we can set any quick play spell card directly from our deck. I've already read a few people that are going, wait, what? You can just search for any quick play spell card. I mean, you still have to control a Zarc. Like, you still have to make Zarc. Like, there's the Supreme King trap is going to be the best way to make Zarc for the absolute budget. But once again, your cost and condition to search for any quick play spell card is locked behind a trap card that says, hey, you have to control Zarc. Like, the card's not as busted as people think it is, but it's cool. I quite like it a lot. And then there's this. This is Soul of the Supreme Celestial King. So you can activate one card with this card's name per turn on normal traps. So you can tribute one spellcaster Pendulum monster with 2,500 original attack. So Astrograph Sorcerer. Fusion summon a Supreme King Zarc from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, deck, extra deck, field, and or graveyard, but its effects are negated unless at least one of each of your Pendulum Dragon, Exceed Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon monsters is currently banished. Well, as long as we can blow up our Astrograph Sorcerer, which is still limited to 1, by the way, in the TCG, I can go ahead and Fusion summon out Zarc. So, what's that? Is that 6 ways to make Zarc now? The amount of 4K vanilla that you can make. It's cool. I like it. Like, I think these cards, they make the universal pendulum scales good. I mean, we already got Wakashi running around out here, but I mean, like, this is cool. I actually, this card is so good. But this I am here for the art, and I think that this was a fantastic job. I like what we have. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.